Heels of a good weekend.
It's a great weekend.
All right, the baseball
about?
renaissance is underway. Like I told you, it would become a team.
Why did I take a day off, whenever it was, a couple weeks ago, week and a half ago? The next thing I hear when I come back is BT's proclaimed the Mets and the Yankees seasons are done. They're not making the postseason. It's over. Yet here we are, 5-game winning streak for the Mets. I'll start with them. All of a sudden, feel very confident in their pitching. I know Max Scherzer labored through 6 innings, but I trust, for whatever reason, I trust Max Scherzer to figure this thing out. He's already figured it out from the little steps that he took a couple of weeks, or the little setbacks he had a couple of weeks ago. Justin Verlander looked like the Cy Young winner. Senga starting the 5-game win streak a couple of games ago. He was fantastic against the Rays, 12 strikeouts. Tyler McGill did what he needed to do. Yeah, the bullpen, Ottavino got banged around a little bit, but Robertson keeps coming and doing what he has to do. I all of a sudden feel confident in the Mets pitching staff. Maybe I'm a little ahead of myself, but I feel confident in their staff. They already got the young kids down there. The Mets are on their way, because they're second right now in the division, to making the postseason. Maybe they're not competing for the division with the Braves, because the Braves are just better right now. But who cares? We've talked about this many times. You don't need to win the division. And the Yankees, save for a walk-off, because Wandy Peralta just gave up a 3-run bomb against the who was that against? Gave up that 3-run bomb. The Yankees have won 6 of their last 7.
Actually, more than that. I think it's like 11 of 13. The Yankees been playing well.
Toronto. It was against Toronto. It gave up the,
like I told you, they'd be playing well.
But the Yankees, how could you? Yeah, I know they got some pitching issues and they got some depth issues and some injuries.
Oh, is that all?
Severino is back.
No,
Cole's the ace.
I know.
Nestor finds himself.
I'm excited.
They DFA'd Aaron Hicks. How can you not be excited?
You know what's crazy?
Both the Yankees and the Mets, they are headed towards the playoffs. They're right where you want them to be at this point.
Quick aside about Hicks. I mean, as much as we buried the man, I sincerely felt sorry for him when I saw the news. I know that's crazy.
I know what you mean.
But
you've been calling for it forever.
I always try to incorporate the human element, treat him, like a person with feelings, despite how he drove us nuts.
Like Joey Gallo, it might be the best thing for him.
That's true. That's true. All right, so let me get this clear. So you're going back to something I said about, what was that, 10, 15 days ago or so, roughly, and you're going to bring it back and throw it in my face after a great baseball weekend is what you do. I just want to make sure that's what we're doing
because
here.
It feels
is
like
that what we're doing? I just want to make sure.
Look, it started with the young kids with the Mets. The pitching is getting right. The Yankees have, they're some good opponents. Toronto, Cincinnati's not really, but you know what I mean. They swept Cincinnati like they're supposed to. They took 3 out of 4 from Toronto. They did what they were supposed to do.
All right,
it feels good right now.
Okay.
Like Tony.
Tony has done it again. Feels good. All right, now, so
sorry to put you in this position.
I didn't think we would have to battle out of the chute on my. And by the way, I'm not even really here to battle. I love the way these teams are looking. It's great. However, there are still a lot of things that I worry about with both of these teams. The Yankees' success has hinged on the Superman-like return by Aaron Judge. I mean, I know he didn't play yesterday, but Aaron Judge has been absolutely unstoppable since he got back, which has fueled the Yankees' renaissance, which is great. I mean, so maybe you're out there saying, well, why would that be a problem? The best teams in every sport are generally fueled by their best players, and Aaron Judge clearly not only the best player on the Yankees, quite possibly or probably the best player in baseball. But the Yankees staff, to me, I still worry about it. The Yankees bullpen, I still worry about it. As for the Mets bullpen, still worry about it. And, I get it. I understand when you dissect, and we dissect the baseball season every day. And probably to our detriment, we almost treat it like a football season, Like the way we come in after a Jets or a Giants win or a loss, that is... Football's supposed to be different than baseball, but in this town, it's not necessarily different. Like when the Mets lose 3 out of 4, or they lose multiple series to bad teams, we want to know why. We lay it on thick, and we react with aggression. Same with the Yankees. Now, to me, it's still. I just, as much as I'd love to sit here and say that I was wrong, and it's not even about being right or wrong. It's about the instincts that I have or that I feel when I watch these teams play. And the easy thing to do is to get on the air when they look awesome and the stadiums are energized and everybody's vibing and everybody's feeling good and there's contributions up and down the board, sure. You want me to take the L for the last week? I'll gladly take it. Boom. Put her right in the middle of my big, shiny forehead because I got, Lord knows it's big and I got no hair to protect. That's fine. I'll take the L, and I will gladly be saddled with the loss if this is what happens the rest of the way. But, one thing that I said, all right, when I took the position that I did 12, 13 days ago about the general state, the overall malaise, the deficiencies with both of these baseball teams, it was not to, put out a 30-second video for some extra views. It was not a hot take. It was what I saw in the moment. And while it's dissipated a bit, clearly, I can't run from that take. I hope that I'm wrong, but I still feel a large part of what I said is true.
Look, when you said that, because I remember I saw it on social media, and I said, "Man, BT's kind of talking in the vein of what people feel, like the emotion that they're feeling." But the reality was the struggles with Scherzer. You could buy in and say it was going to be the all season long. I always felt like he would figure it out. I
never gave up on him either. I was very clear about
Verlander,
that.
I just had no clue.
Yeah.
All I know is that he won the Cy Young last year, and he was coming off an injury where he didn't pitch really at all until about a month ago. And none of it was in major leagues. He goes in the minors. He has a pretty decent outing. He comes up, struggles a little bit, gives up home runs, back-to-back home runs his first outing, and then he's Justin Verlander again. We saw some growth from Senga. Let's not forget, he's getting used to coming over. He's coming over from Japan, so he's getting used to a Major League Baseball, Major League hitting. How much can he throw that ghost fork? We look at Tyler McGill, who's had some experience last year for the first time, and he started to get rocked, but it was because he was battling an injury. I just always felt the upside was bigger than the downside for the Mets pitchers. And by the way, this all comes down to pitching, all right? In Major League Baseball, it's going to be pitching. And then you get Francisco Lindor. He's smashing home runs. He's getting RBIs.
Yeah.
You get the young kids, as we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, just injecting some energy, some aggression. So the Mets were primed to get to this point where they felt playoff viable. All they needed was the pitching to come together. And it felt like this weekend it coalesced. That's why I feel optimistic about the Mets.
Yeah,
and the Yankees,
should.
look, the Yankees they're going to make the postseason whether or not they win the division or not. They're going to make the postseason. But when you start doing the things that make you look like a winner, right? Dead weight. Sorry, dude.
No, that's
we gotta
good.
let you go.
That's good.
I mean, now I'm here. Maybe Donaldson is going to be a casualty of that as well because he's just not ready to play.
Maybe Hal heard what we were saying.
Maybe.
I mean, we were all over it. A lot of us were. Like, it just drove us nuts.
Sevy comes back.
Yeah,
he looks pretty good.
He's always had filthy
run.
stuff.
Of course,
Always.
he's just got to be healthy, right? He's healthy. Nestor settled himself after some up and down starts this season. I'm not fully bought in on Nestor being consistent like he was last year, but hell, if he gives me a great start every other one, I'm happy. Cole is an ace, Cy Young winner of this year so far. Right? And you just look at the Yankees, and they're already making the postseason. And if they get right and healthy in the right spots, who's stopping them? Right? I'm not saying World Series.
Yeah,
I'm just saying they have as good a chance as anybody to get where they want to get in this postseason.
Okay, so why didn't we feel this way
because
10, 12, 13 days? First of all,
terminal.
I will say this about the Mets. Everything that I said about the Mets was prefaced on them bringing the kids up. Like that was one thing that I always latched onto, and it was just a clear, scream. Come on, Mets.
Was Beatty up? Beatty might have been up, right?
This was before even Beatty came up.
Yeah.
Like a day or two before he came up. Yeah. So I know that they still don't always play the kids. I know that you got to figure this out. I know Buck still relies on a lot of veterans, and there's going to be some mixing and some matching. There is no denying, what the Yanks and the Mets have done the last, so many days or so. It's inspiring, and it's great to see, and it's fun. And I hope that it sticks. I'm not sure that it will, but I hope that it does. I mean, that's all I can say. And by the way, Hoff, so let me get this out there as well. So if you recall Friday's show, I remember I had that little piece of paper. Remember that? I hate the paper on the air?
Yeah.
All right. So,
about Lindor.
About Lindor. I mean, by the way, how about that little, check swing base hit to left field with a steal on second base, a 7-hopper, then of course everybody goes nuts on.
Are you gonna?
Nah, Lindor has a good weekend.
Does it show up in the stat book what kind of hit it was?
Well, it does. How about the Oppo bomb, which was sweet?
Exactly.
And the pitching matchups were great last night. But the bottom line is this. So I issued a challenge to Hop because, in my opinion, he was putting words in my mouth, all right, regarding Lindor. And I gave him, this was on Friday, I gave him 5 minutes as we went to break. I said, okay, find the audio of me saying what you're saying that I said about Lindor. Play it on the air. If you could find it in the 5 minutes, I'll give you $100 and I'll need a sheet of paper because the paper had something scribbled down about Lindor. That's why I pulled the paper into it, right? He couldn't find it because he was always making it up. He was always embellishing. He was always stretching to fit his Mets narrative, all right? So he couldn't do it. Tom expired. I said, you know what? I love Hoff. Hoff's a great guy. He's a great Mets fan. Hashtag MVP. All about Lindor. He's all in. He's feisty. I said, here's what I'll do for you. I'll give you the weekend. If you can find it over the weekend, it still applies. He came in today smiling. He came in today pretty sure about himself. 12:40. We'll see if it's right. And if that's the case, I'm going to be eating something.
Enjoy your 2 pieces of paper.
We'll see. But Judge Tiki is still rendering the verdict here.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, that's no problem.
Okay. I was also, what do you think about this? So Friday, we're going to be out at DJ's to kick off the Memorial Day weekend as we were last year. All the shows will be out there. I got to tell you, Hoff, maybe Hoff's the one to ask because he's the Mets guy. I'm thinking about doing a live rendition of Let's Go, Mets Go. I'm actually thinking about getting on the stage with a microphone and doing it. Because let's face it, it wasn't Lindor, it wasn't Buck, it wasn't the kids, it wasn't Hoff, it wasn't Evan. It was me who inspired the Mets to get their act together. So I might have to take full credit in front of a couple of thousand people.
I'm going to just say no, thank you.
Well, now
we'll
I
pass.
definitely do it. Now I definitely do it. 877-337-6666. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan. Yeah, they're cooking, and I love to see it. We're inside of our Town Fair Tire studios. Our friends at Town Fair remind you that you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. All right, let's get to you. Seaford Pete checks in first up on this Monday. What's happening, Petey?
Good morning. Thanks for taking the call.
All right.
You know, BT, do I think that anyone of the Mets, Lindor specifically, heard a single word that you said on Friday? Not necessarily, but the energy that you put into the universe has catapulted them to this sweep over the Cleveland Indians. And Lindor specifically, clutch. You
That's
can
true.
give me every eight-letter acronym advanced stat in the book. From Anthony Tacoma over the weekend, Lindor is one of only 4 players in baseball with 7 home runs, 15 doubles, and multiple steals, along with Goldschmidt, Wander Franco, and other big names.
Yeah.
The back of this guy's
Yeah.
the back of this guy's baseball card at the end of the season is going to say 25-plus home runs and 100-plus RBIs. And it won't show his elite defense, but that double play last night
Oh, that was a great turn. That was a great turn.
Yeah.
He made another great play in the 8th inning before the double play. So whatever you did, BT, whatever energy you put into the universe,
Yeah.
from every Mets fan, I say thank you.
Oh,
Well,
man,
I
it was
mean,
all
listen.
hate. What are you talking about, Pete? It was all hate. It was all hate. He was throwing
See
into
that?
it.
By
By the way, the defense that we're not even acknowledging. I'm just kidding. It was trolling. It wasn't hate.
It wasn't
the
trolling.
defense
It was
that
inspiration.
we're talking about with Lindor. The shift is gone.
Yep.
So he's making a lot of these plays. I don't want to say it's new for him because look, he's an elite shortstop or high end shortstop. Of course, he could make them, but for the last 5-6 years, you haven't had to have that much range.
Yeah.
Because you're cheating.
Well,
right?
it's almost like, in basketball, if you pack in a 2-3 zone, you almost take away the ability to really take somebody off the dribble and get in the paint and show the toolbox of quickness and dexterity. No, I love the fact that not just Lindor, that all these shortstops and second basemen have a laboratory to show off their great skill. And that double play was sweet.
Yeah.
It was a tough play. It was right. Threw a dime to McNeil, a bullet. McNeil spun it around. That's a great win. And it's a great win, and things are happening. Let's face it. We know why things are happening. I mean, I keep telling you guys that things are happening for a reason, and they're happening because I said they were going to happen. I don't care. You guys can try to lie all you want and say that I got on the air and said that the Mets and the Yankees weren't going anywhere this year. That's not the way it went down. That's not the way it went. Not in my book. No, there's always nuance there. My partner's choosing to ignore.
I'm not ignoring
the
anything.
nuance.
You thought they were non-playoff bound teams, both of these teams, because the issues were piling up.
Let's go.
Give it a weekend.
Say whatever
5
you want.
straight for the Mets.
Hey, listen, I play the
Sweet
song.
for the Yanks.
Mets win, bottom line.
To make the dream work, let's go. Let's go, Mets. We're gonna make it this
I'm
time.
actually getting
We're gonna
tweets,
take it.
aside from the stuff where they're crushing me about Lindor, saying, BT, please keep playing the song. BT, please, it's a source of rally. It is it grounds us.
Now the reality
stabilizes
is, will
us.
this ever re-emerge as a Mets tune?
I'm going to sing it Friday on stage with
No,
DJs.
I'm
Watch.
talking about like reality.
I don't know.
It's old. It's a throwback. It's so old.
You know, this is what confounds me here. So, can you explain to me? This song came out in the summer of '86.
Yeah, I did a dive on it last.
Oh,
night.
did you really?
Yeah, yes. On Friday. You remember?
Oh, I think you followed it up more. Okay, yeah. So nobody's brought this out in all the years at the Fan. Beningo, and if anybody would buzz, it should have been Joe. I mean, Joe was in his absolute, we love Joe, physical prime at 86. Come on. So Joe didn't bust it out. Francesa was a Yankee, is a Yankee fan. He's not going to bust. Mad Dogs, Giants, he's not going to bust it out. The Schmooze never busted it out that I heard, okay? No Met fan, Evan didn't bust it out. It took me to go through the annals of music, all right, to dig so deep to pull up this new tradition. It's the inspiration behind the Mets. Honestly, you can try to obscure it as much as you want. I am the reason the Mets are now good.
Yeah, well, now the fans are starting to believe your nonsense.
But that's good. Let me get Raj in Torrington, Connecticut. What's happening, Raj?
What's up, Roger?
Hey, how you doing?
We're good, man.
Roger.
Yeah, listen, I got to tell you, Brandon, particularly you, more so than Tiki, I just think the funeral that you had last week, almost the whole week, on for the Mets and for the Yankees was a little premature. Also, your notions that what the Mets need to do if they want to win baseball games is to bring up the kids. With all due respect.
Yep.
Okay?
Okay.
The fact is, Scherzer, Verlander,
Senga.
Lindor, these are not the young kids that carried the Mets this week.
Oh, no, I understand that. But, Raj, you can't deny that this injection of unbridled youthful passion and exuberance has not only rallied the locker room, but the whole stadium. You don't feel it?
You know, I just want to remind you that the often vilified Joe Torre and Joe Girardi after him, they were always reluctant to put young kids out there. They always preferred veterans.
They didn't need
you can
to,
agree
Raj.
with that philosophy. You can disagree with it.
No, I'm not,
kids,
Roger, but hold on. But yeah.
They have nothing proven.
Yeah.
So it's easy to say, look at the energy they have.
Okay, but hold on a second. Fair.
They still have to prove something to everybody.
You're right. I cannot literally quantify the amount of energy. Yeah, I can. You can feel it. You can see it. But I can't give you a number. You're right. Much like they can't give you a number, some baseline test of stickiness on the finger. You just know it when it's there, and more specifically, you know when it's not there. The thing about Girardi and Torre, you're right. There was always an aversion to playing young kids, but let's face it. When you have O'Neill in right, you have Bernie in center, Jeter up the middle, Tino at first, Brocious and Boggs at third. I mean, Posada and behind the plate. You don't need young kids. The reason the Mets needed to bring the kids up is because the stiffs that they were running out there, putting them in prominent spots in the batting order, the Cannas, the Vogies. I know they still play a little bit, and we know all the names, but come on, that's why I was calling for the kids. Not because if the veterans were good, the Mets wouldn't be scuffling the way they were.
Yeah, and they made a decided move at third base. Beatty's basically your everyday third baseman.
And Escobar moved up in a lineup.
Right,
He's batting fifth for the most
part. And if Escobar is going to play, he's playing second now. He's not playing third and plays with Beatty. So he's actually hitting well over the last 6 or 7 games, Escobar is. So maybe he needed the move. So look, they've made the right moves to get themselves right at this point in the season. Again, it's still May. But the biggest positive, because I remember saying for the last 3 weeks, I don't know where the answer is coming if these guys are injured or ineffective, talking about the pitching. They're starting to figure it out. If Verlander's the ace that he was last year, and it looks like he is, if Scherzer can figure it out, and he's slowly figuring it out, then this Mets team can go wherever they want. They may not win the division. Throw that caveat out there. But I think we've seen over the last 5 years, the division is great. It's not paramount.
Let me put it this way.
Getting where you need to go.
The last few Mets wins and the last few Mets games, going back to obviously last week, that slider that Alvarez sent into orbit and Alonso. I mean, that is the Mets team that I felt like I was watching last season.
Yep.
Never out of it, constant energy, great camaraderie, clutch. It was great to see.
Yeah.
Now let's see him keep doing it.
By the way, just aside,
yes,
we may have been disappointed with our Knicks, but the Boston Celtics are getting their asses kicked
Can the Knicks play the next
by
game?
the Miami Heat.
Just pull
Holy
them off the
cow.
golf course, put them out there, let them play one
Holy
more game.
cow.
They'll be more competitive.
Wow.
They might have to blow that up in Boston.
Yeah.
Which
No,
might
they-
benefit the Knicks
Yes.
because they really might
Yes.
have to trade Jaylen Brown. We'll get to that as well. All right, 877-337-6666. This resurgence by both New York baseball teams is awesome. The question is, how much is real and how much do you truly believe is going to be here for the most, obviously it's a long season. You're going to have a losing skid at some point, but is this the new tone for both teams the rest of the way?